What is going on, everybody? My name is Chris. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Skate 3 tutorial. Today we're going to be making the El Toro 20 Stair High School with no merge and no DLC, so everybody can do it. I actually am playing on my Xbox One where I don't have any DLC and there isn't merge glitch on the Xbox One. Normally I play Skate 3 on the 360 with the disc version, and that's the only way you can really do merge glitch. The thing I find interesting is that this is actually one of my first videos, and we're kind of going back, and I'm going to make a tutorial obviously now on it. So let's just get into it. We'll get all the mumbo jumbo out of the way. I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can throughout this video, so I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you click that like button, and yeah, let's just get into it. So one of the first things, and obviously the most important thing, is making the stair set. And the stair set is going to be a little bit tricky, and it's obviously going to be the major part of it. But once we get that done, everything else is kind of just going to be easy breezy. That is a weird statement. I don't know why I described that. So now I'm going to be using this pad, and the reason why we're going to be building up from not using this ground is, you see, I can only put countersink this into the ground about halfway. And also, we can only use the bottom texture. That's the reason I'm not doing that. I build parks that I guess are technically floating, but then you build the environment around it. So if you've never built a park before, that's why I'm building it up, because I can essentially, if I want to put this rail in the ground, or if I want to go like this, I want there to be a poster right here, I can do that. If I do it here, it's only halfway into the ground. I always get that comment of somebody thinks that they're super smart. They're like, well, you're building a floating skate park. That's the reason why I do that. So yeah, they're floating, but the way you build around it is that it's not really a floating skate park. So nonetheless, so I'm actually going to be building this stair set so it goes out this way right here, and the reason being is that the sun will hit it and there won't be any weird shadows. And I'm going to be building this about 2 pads wide. We're going to try to make it as simple as possible, which also means we might sacrifice some detail, which is fine. You know, can only do as much as we can. And you can either choose 2 stairs. Now there's this one, which is a little bit kind of, you can see it's a little bit worn down, or if you want to make it a little bit cleaner, you go to Plaza, go to the big stairs, go on the smallest side, and it's, you know, it looks a little bit better. So obviously it's going to be 20 stairs, and we're going to start off by duplicating it. So we're going to place 1 flat, turn on, I use rotation LT to fine tune. Slowly I'm using the D-pad to go up, and we're trying to make this merge, and you can see there it is. And also, if you guys can't get this to merge in or whatever it may be, there's a setting in your options called collision on and off. Now if we have collision on, this can't move. These can't go into each other. But if we have collision off, you can put a maximum 3 objects into each other. So now think about that, we might have a problem, but let's see. Let's turn off snap. Let's leave snapping on. We'll turn collision off. Let's see if we can duplicate this. I think we'll be good. Let me just, again, we're going to see. All right, we should be good. So I'm going to start off with the first 2. And now, so we have 2 placed next to each other. We're going to take this first one, move it down just a little bit, and this is going to be where we're going to essentially be duplicating this 10 times. Now it depends on how steep you want to make the stairs, and again, this might be a little bit of trial and error. See if I like the way we have it right here. This is pretty good. Again, this is up to you. I skate on hardcore, so that's the way I'm going to be sizing my objects. So if you skate on like easy or whatever, maybe size it to what you want it to be. So now we have 4 stairs. We're going to take the same length on this one and then just try to move it in as close as we can. This is where again, it can get a little bit tricky, but if we mess this up, you'll see it 5 times. So that looks pretty good, and this might be a little bit too steep. I can already tell because it just looks, I know we're making El Toro, but it just looks, I don't like the, I mean, you know what, we'll just see it. We'll see it. So now we're gonna keep duplicating this, and so now we'll have 8 stairs, and we'll just keep doing the same process over until we get 20 stairs. And again, this can get a little bit difficult lining it up, but they look lined up really good. So now we have 8 stairs, and so now we got half of the stair set done. We got 20 stairs. So we're having a problem right here, and this is just the stupid stuff that when you don't have merge glitch, you don't have to worry about. So we have snapping on, and it's not wanting to snap on, which makes a ton of sense right now. So maybe if we do 1 piece at a time, that might do it. I see. So for that reason, this 3rd piece, it's thinking we're merging in right now, which obviously we're not, but we will fix that. So right now we're having to manually put each of these pieces in. I don't know why. The game is just not wanting to. It thinks we're going in more than 3 objects, which we're not. Alrighty, there we go. So I just fine-tuned that, and now we have basically the El Toro 20. And so I'm going to be just using the basic pads for this. We'll turn on snapping finally. And so now we can start building at least like a basic layout. And again, this is going to be probably the part that will be the most boring, but that's really, there's not much else to it. So I'm building essentially this like layout. For me, from what I remember, this is just what I have in my head of what it kind of looks like. I'm not going to go exactly per verbatim to what it probably looks like, just because I'm going off like whatever comes to my head, but that doesn't mean it's not going to come out good. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like you can just, do whatever, like, it's going to be just some basic stuff. And then I guess the next thing we'll do, so these are actually just gonna be like lockers and buildings. It's kind of part like where once we add that though, that's the part that sells the effect of why we're building a floating skate park. So now this is actually snapping in, pretty much aligning with that. So now we just gotta move it down so it's about the same size as everything else, and we got it. So there we go. And we'll do the same thing over here. This is just gonna be kind of some grass. And then we just have this, concrete section rolling over here. There's going to be some, there's going to be grass in the middle. It's a very easy spot, relatively, to make. I think so. Let some benches. Once we throw that grass in there and like the other things, it's going to be easy peasy. So there we go. Let's just skate it. And this one is a little bit smaller than I thought it would be. But overall, though, let me see. That's pretty accurate. I mean, it's still a pretty big gap. Yeah, it's actually done. That looks pretty close to what it actually looks like. So the next thing we'll be doing is adding this grass here, and this might be a little bit tricky. Oh wait, if we can get this, and we did the sizing correct, maybe we don't have to even worry about it. Oh, perfect. Wow, that's cool. So now the grass is going in literally perfectly the way I imagined it would. We can just use these pieces, and you might have to do it custom, but once we throw that in there, that definitely gives it, that sells the effect. And this, we might have a little issue, because the thing is, we have to see how there's some pieces moving in and out. It's not exactly perfect, so the game is kind of freaking out right now of like, oh, do I want to merge in? Do I want to do all that? Whatever. So we're just going to have this countersunk a little bit, and this should still connect because we're not super close to it. And let me just make it so there's no seam there. There we go. That's all right if there's a, on the bottom that you can't see it. And so we have that, and then there's like a pavilion up there. And the next thing, obviously, probably the most important, is adding the rail. Now the rail might be, I think the catwalk support, see, it's a little short and it's not going to be exact, but it's probably going to be our best bet. So this is going to be kind of up to you and what you want to do. If you want to add the rail in the middle, if you want to go for that type of El Toro, because the original rail is actually taken out in the middle, but there are still the rails on the side. So you can either go, if you want to make it actually sized to what it would look like, which would be like this, but the problem is if you're hitting it with some speed, it's a little too steep to hit. So you can either mellow it out if you want, but let's just skate this. I don't know. I kind of like that though. And if I really want to, I can change that. It's really up to you. So now we got that height down. We're going to take this up a little bit. I'm going to grab this piece, and then now we're going to build the supports. And the reason why we're actually building this high up is we're going to have collision off, and then when we merge it in, we're going to turn collision on, because this thing, for rails and ledges, you can stick more than 3 objects into each other when you're not using merge glitch. And for some of you probably already know this, but I'm just explaining this to the people who maybe don't know, who are just, starting out park building. So we're gonna add the piece at the end there, and I believe these rails, again, I don't really have any reference photos because I've made this park probably 3 or 4 times. But I know I think it's divided into about 4 sections, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not, I apologize. Make it appropriate to whatever you want to do it with. So then we're adding this section right here. Is confirm this and see how when we push it over here, it's like, whatever, collision. Boom, turn collision on. We can do whatever we want. So we're gonna move it so it's about here, and that's when we can kind of fine tune it. Might even actually extend it out a little bit because you're gonna have to skate it anyways. And it's gonna be a little tall because it just kind of has to be, because if you hit it a little with some speed, it's not gonna be able to skate as well. See, like I barely ollied there, and I'm pretty sure am I on difficult? Yeah, I'm on hardcore, and I feel like I'm on regular. You gotta be hit it pretty slow. if you want the rail this steep, but I'm fine with that. I don't mind it being this steep. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's, oh, and then let's turn snapping off, collision off. I think there's a thing underneath this. Whatever, we'll just do it for the sake of this video. Like I said, if I don't get the rail right, I apologize. Just change it appropriately to whatever you would want to do. So we're gonna copy and paste this. And now we're gonna turn collision on so we can have our snapping off, collision on. And now we can add this rail here. So I'll put it on the side, and now we have the rail there. It's awesome. We could add the rail in the middle. It's literally completely up to you if you want to do that, but I like this. So we got our stair set. It's very simple, very basic, but very easy to make. So now I'm going to be making the surrounding area. So if this did the point of the tutorial, if you're like, I don't need that, but if you want to see what you want to do, just you know, stick around. So we're gonna turn snapping on, and they kind of have these, I don't know, it's like a brown texture. I don't know, it's nothing perfect. And again, not that I'm building this lazily, but I'm not stressing about this because people really only care about that, the other aspect, which is just the stair set, make sure it skates well. But you do want to make a little bit, you want to put a little effort into making the surrounding area at least somewhat decent. So we're gonna just use this as a template, and I know normally I wouldn't put this here, but it's just to make it easier with merge glitch. I'm just gonna leave this you know, kind of dark brown section just the way it is. You know, it's unfortunately it's just a pain to deal with. And then now we're gonna add this top part, and I need to look, but I'm assuming it'd be like a darker brown, and obviously, you know, make it easier. We're just gonna copy everything, or at least the top part. So I'm gonna want this section actually. There we go. So now we can lower this a little bit. And now we can just duplicate this to finish the end section. There we go. And I don't think we need to worry about adding a roof over here. It doesn't seem like it'll be necessary. But we do want to add a section over on this side. So we're just building the surrounding area, very basic, and I will check in with you guys when I finish. And we're basically just adding these brown walls. Alrighty, so what we did now, again, like I said, we did these brown walls, and I actually extended out this thing over here. And the reason why I built out larger than I normally would, and the reason why you guys are seeing this is because, again, this will give the illusion that the park will continue on forever, but we're gonna be cutting it off. So a way of doing that is very simple, of just adding a chain link fence. I know it seems like, you know, no brainer, but some people might not think about that. So for this, actually what we're going to be doing is cutting off probably halfway here, and then we'll be adding, still like it's, you know, like I said, we're going to be continuing it on, but we're going to cut off the sections, and then we'll be using probably like trees or something like that. So again, like an example would be for this section right here. So we'll add this piece. We'll have this probably just merge. Again, I don't care if people can get outside of my park. I really don't. Some people think it's funny, or think it's like ridiculous, whatever. Like, I don't care. It's more just there strictly for aesthetics. So, you know, it's like signaling like, hey, this is the end of the park. Like, you can't continue on. And then there's a pavilion in the middle here. And this will be, we'll probably make this pretty, you know, unless you really want to make this like a full-on skate park and, you know, do whatever you want. That's the beauty we have. But I'm going to just put like, not minimal effort, but like, I really don't care. So the way I'm going to actually do this is use these plaza ledges. I'm just going to put on the smallest one, or actually we're putting on this on the largest one. And then I will put these stairs, and we'll just go like this, cover up this bottom part. And then now we got like kind of like a cool curve thing that people maybe never built parks or have seen the parks like this. They're like, oh, okay, that looks kind of cool. And why is this? There's always one that doesn't want to link up. Again, I don't know how. Working without merge is awful. I hate it, but you know, for the sake of the viewers, we'll put it. So like, look at like, why won't this merge in? That makes no sense. So I'll just build this, you know, I guess kind of high up. Again, this is kind of extra, but so there we got that. And I'm gonna line this up a little bit, so I don't want it to be super close in the center. You know, be like this, and we'll just add some support here, which just for simplicity's sake, I'm actually going to be using these factory things. But actually, these look pretty like they look like that they would be here. So we're probably just going to add some in like the corners. Very simple. And if you have a problem with the glitch or whatever, like, you know, like right there, just turn collision on, because these things are, again, are similar to the rails and ledges, because, or obviously it's a ledge, because these things don't account for the collision thing. You can kind of merge 3 of these each into each other, and then 3 into something else. Then we'll put like 1 in the middle. We can just fill up this middle with props, and just for the sake of, you know, creating a little bit difference, maybe just change the color a little bit. And this is, again, this is more up to you, however you want to change this. And, you know, obviously this park seems quite basic in coloring and everything like that. We just got some small, like, minor adjustments to add. So we definitely already got that El Toro vibe, but going back on one thing, I kind of lost track of it, was we got to add these lockers to kind of signify that this is a school. I'm just going to do a light blue, and the nice thing is that these things, we don't have to really worry about merge glitch too much, and we don't even have to add, you know, just lower them in the ground, have this on the factory setting. These look like lockers. Like, that's pretty much, that's all there is really to it. How do we make a doorway? Very, very simple. We'll probably make this door a little bit darker, and that's probably not gonna be tall enough. So what we'll do is use this, and then this is a very easy way of making this. And we're probably gonna make this outside of this because of just the merge. And then we can do the same thing for the downtown. What we'll do is use this metal lamppost, move this down, and then now we got kind of like, I don't know, whatever this would, you would call this, little window. I actually can't really see this. Maybe I gotta just make this a little bit more there we go. And throw some contrast with it. We'll be fine. And then now, I think collision's on, right? Collision is off, so interesting. This thing's actually merging in pretty good. There we go. We added the doors across the entire park. And then now what we can do for windows is use these bus shelters, and then they kind of come off with these really cool, especially so if the shadow's hitting it the right way, it comes off really bright, and it does kind of look like a window for the most part. So we can move these next to each other, and, you know, there you got windows. You know, might as well. Again, I don't know if the actual, you know, place has these, but, you know, we're making the Skate 3 version of it, so it doesn't really matter. You don't have to make it 100% exact. But again, now that, you know, instead of just having these blank concrete walls, it actually looks like we have, you know, a real, they look, again, it's small little stuff, but the details, that's what really will stand out. So now we basically have like El Toro made. We have the entire section of the stair set, we have the surrounding area, and we started adding more detail. The next thing is like the little fine stuff that'll really sell that you're at El Toro. I know I'm like making a big deal about it, and like honestly some people would be satisfied with this, but I don't like that. I like to be extra and add more stuff to it. So we're going to start adding the extra, you know, little details that really will sell it. So one thing is like there's this kind of brush right here, and we obviously want to add that. So I'm just countersinging this tree, changing the color a little bit, you know, manipulate it, rotate it, see what you can do, get funky with it, whatever it may be. Like you literally can go like this. Just be careful if you build a little low, you won't be able to edit the park or edit this because it will be stuck permanently. And then we'll still add like 1 or 2 more, like run about here. We'll add maybe, yeah, we'll do like 1 more, rotate this, change the color a little bit. There we go. And then another thing you can do is, so like on the outside of the park here, is I'm going to be adding these trees, and it kind of covers off that we're at a floating skate park. So those people who complain about that, this is a way to get around that, and that's why I kind of build this out over here. You can add a tree. I know there's probably a building here, but I just decided to do it because, you know, I like it being a little bit different. Move this down a little bit, and then we'll add the trees on the edge. I know this section over here, there's like some ledges. I don't know. Again, this is kind of where you can get a little creative, where you don't have to necessarily go verbatim to what the actual park. So I'm going to actually just sink this right here, and we're just going to have this lined up. I don't care that it's not 100% exact, because we're going to merge this into the ground. Again, this is completely up to you if you want to do something similar to this, but I'm just doing it because when you get these actually merged in, it looks really cool. So we're going to grab this whole entire ledge. Again, it's just a little thing. Just even by adding that little amount of stuff, it makes the park feel a little bit more complete. We'll add some props and everything like that. So I will check in with you guys. And took some time real quick just to, because I feel like you guys didn't need to see the footage of it, but I'll just show you what I did. I just added a bunch of props around the entire park. So we just added, you know, those benches there. I added these actual rails because it helps divide the park and fill up a lot of negative space. There is these garbage cans, like just very simple stuff. I did the same thing down here, and I guess the main thing, I did add this rail in the middle because I was like, you know what, why not? We'll make it like the old El Toro. And yeah, that's relatively it. So it's this park build, I think it took me around like 30-35 minutes. It's not that crazy difficult. I think it's really more if you want to actually take the time and put in the detail, because it definitely helped fill in the park. And I know one of the things you guys might see, these like the concrete, I guess the bottom is like a little bit discolored, and I just figured, you know, it adds a little bit where it's not everything so perfect. I like it. It's really, you don't have to do it. Again, it's just a very simple thing. But yeah, that's how you make El Toro without merge glitch, with no DLC. So there's one for pretty much anybody could do, any type of park builder. I think maybe if this is literally your first park ever, maybe it might be a little hard, but I don't know. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you're able to make it. If you do, make sure you send it to me on I'm Christian Owens on Instagram, and I've been posting some Skate 3 stuff on there. So if you guys want to check it out, make sure you guys give me a follow on there. But yeah, this is a cool park, and I'm glad I made this on the Xbox One, because I like to start making more stuff on here because I do like the challenge. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you click that like button. It really does help me out a lot. But anyways, my name is Chris. I'll see you all again soon. Peace.